Welcome to the Library of Humanity. Today we're looking at how ethics and morality is not real. They're not real. So ethics is unethical and morality is immoral. Because what exists because it's perfect. Because what existence is came from what is perfect. God, like the perfection of God, creates what is real. And what is real is perfect. So perfection and reality is just the same. So what is real is here now, right? Here now without you judging it. So human beings, we try to judge everything, right? We say like, it's too cold outside, I'm hungry, that person should have done that, this person should be more ethical, I should be more moral. It's all about ethics and morality because you're judging yourself, the moment, other people. But this judgment doesn't need to exist. Like, we don't need it because what exists is perfect. But judging, like using ethics and morality, is that the moment is imperfect. So when you use ethics and morality, you're saying that it is imperfect, right? Like, so on the news, you hear that there was a murder, or you heard that somebody stole something, or someone took your parking spot at work. So you think that is immoral. What I'm saying is that is perfect, but your judgment of it, like your idea of the situation, is imperfect, but simultaneously is actually perfect because it exists. But for now, let's just say that judgment is actually, the judgment itself is immoral, but not the act. The act is perfect. So we don't even need morality. So it's amorality, or the opposite of ethics, aethical, right? So that is what the moment or what reality is perfect. So when we hear that somebody murders somebody, for example, or someone takes our parking spot at work, our reaction is also in the moment, right? Like our reaction to it exists. So the reaction is also perfect. Okay, so when there's indignation from an action that is perceived as bad, so for the example is if someone murders somebody on television and you are mad about that, both of those actions are perfect. The murder is perfect, but also your reaction to it, your anger to the murder is also perfect. But of course, I have to go back to the idea of the murder is perfect because that sounds terrible. Well, okay, but first of all, the murder exists, right? And I said that existence is perfect, okay? But what I'm asking is, why did the murder happen, right? When murders happen, we think that a bad person did it. But when a murder happens, we have to analyze how the murder happened or why the murder happened. And when we see that murders occur due to ignorance, due to human ignorance. So human ignorance is a system that was created by God. Human ignorance itself was created by God to be this game, right? And I don't know the reason for it. I don't know the reason why we have humans, like why we have animals, why we have plants. I have no idea why. But because we do, there is this system of ignorance. Like the purpose of life is to be ignorant until you realize that everything is God. That is like the point. That is the purpose. Okay, but what does that look like? That looks like people murdering each other. There is war, there is poverty, there is disease, I don't know. That's just nature, right? But war and murder and poverty and rape, all of these things come from human ignorance. They come from this game. And the game itself is inside of this bubble of perfection. So think about how weird that is. There is a lot of this imperfection, like murder and human ignorance, but it's occurring inside of this bubble of perfection. So I'm thinking, like, how does that happen, right? Like, what is the purpose of that imperfection? Like, why is there ignorance? Why is there war? Why is there murder? So instead of judging it and saying that it's automatically bad, we have to say, like, why is there murder, and can we do something about it? Right? Like, that's the proper reaction. Instead of always jumping towards ethics and morality, actually, when you do that, that's unethical or immoral, because you're not seeing that, okay, first and foremost, reality is perfect. So there has to be a reason, there is a reason why murders happen. There's a reason why war happens. And that is because of the entire system, like the entire system that there needs to exist, imperfection and perfection together. But when you have imperfection and perfection together, that dichotomy, that spectrum of imperfection and perfection, yin and yang, so perfection and imperfection is just like yin and yang. Black and white is yin and yang. They need each other. So perfection and imperfection need each other so that existence can be perfect with a capital P. So imperfection and perfection is just a perspective from humans. So when we see murder and war, know that that is just a perspective from the human being perspective, because we have the capability to suffer. Okay, but reality does not suffer. Existence does not suffer. God does not suffer. That's a key characteristic of humans, to suffer. So how we go beyond that suffering is to see that we need everything. Everything that exists is needed, right? So there are wars and murders that happen all over the world. For the time being, because it exists, it needs to exist. Albeit the future can be formed, it can be shaped by us right now, because what we are is the moment over here, and we have this passion and motivation to improve society and improve the world. So that passion for improvement is also a perfection. It's created by God to go out to. So the perfection is created by God, like this passion is created by God. But also what's crazy is that, like, the system that creates murders and wars is also created by God. But it's coming from perfection. Like, the imperfection is coming from the perfection. And it's crazy to think about. But once you see this point, you no longer need ethics or morality. And ethics and morality make you unhappy. So how to be happy is to say, like, yes, the moment, what exists is perfect. Okay? But from my perspective, from my human little mind perspective, there is imperfection. Okay? Like wars and murders. And then there's my passion for changing that. But that whole interaction of me wanting to have less war, or me not wanting climate change. So I go and recycle instead of throw things in the garbage. So I go and do composting instead of recycling even. So composting, my desire to do that is also perfect. So all desires, all human desires, even to kill or to improve climate change, like, you'd think that killing is unethical and improving the environment is ethical, right? But I'm saying those are equal desires. And those desires come from this system, or this thing we call life or existence, that comes from God itself. Okay? So if you have any questions about this idea of imperfection and perfection, or why we don't need ethics and morality, you can comment below. But I'm probably going to make another video about this, because this is a key idea. So I'm going to try to make a part 2 soon about why we don't need ethics and morality. So stay tuned, and I will see you later. Peace.